Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? Welcome to Learn to Write Sci-Fi. Today we're going to be talking about editing for your self-published sci-fi story that you should be writing. If you're not, the whole point of this series is for me to help you guys become a self-published author. I think that if you really want to be serious about this, you want to make this into a business, you got to start somewhere. Everybody could start with a novel. A lot of people try to start with a big long story, but a lot of people don't end up actually publishing their books. So for me, I changed my thinking on it. I was like, well, if I can write a short story in a couple of weeks, then it's at least something for me to start. Then before you know it, you have multiple short stories published. You actually can say you're a self-published author and can start trying to grow from there and, tell all sorts of stories that you can come up with. So hopefully you've been moving along in the story process. Hopefully you've gotten 10, 20 pages written or more. And hopefully you're moving towards that, goal of 50, 60 different pages that you're trying to write. As far as editing, I've talked about it in a couple of videos. The best, hands down, best way for you to self-edit is for you to find a quiet place where you're alone and physically, and I mean literally, read the story out loud. A lot of us, we'll read the stories over and over and over and over and over and over, and we'll still miss stuff. But when you actually take it and you try to verbalize it and say it, you'll catch things that you completely missed, or things that sound okay or even good when you're reading it, in your head, but then when you say it out loud, you're like, that doesn't read right for some reason. Then you can play with a couple of the words in the sentence, or add some words, take some words away, and all of a sudden it sounds better. Or you'll start catching a lot of those those long-winded run-on sentences that you don't really notice when you're just reading, but when you take the time to say it, it's totally different, and is by far the best experience, the best way to do it. I would say my best piece of advice for editing is to read it out loud. The second one is not to overthink it. A lot of us, we as writers, we're already more than likely inclined to have some sort of skill in writing, so we kind of take it serious. We're not just diddling around with it. We're really trying to do something here, and it's very easy to slip into freaking out over every single correct English rule. My rule, first and foremost, is to create an entertaining experience for my reader. Hands down, that's one of my top things that I'm concerned about. So if I get completely sucked into all the grammar rules, I could lose myself and I could sort of lose the feel of the story. Some people would say that's kind of just shooting from the hip. That's not really taking writing serious. That's just my method. Figure out whatever works best for you, but I'm okay knowing that I published a piece of work and it's not 100%. If it comes out to being 98%, 98.5%, I'm okay. You know why? Because I actually finished the work. Instead of taking forever, making sure every single little thing is in place. And, the other thing is that a lot of people say, get a copy editor. And I completely agree. That's something that I'm trying to work on more on my side of things. But if you're going to be in the business of publishing short stories, which there are a number of authors directly on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited, that are making decent money doing short stories or novellas because they kind of write it in a series, there's just no time, for one, for a copy editor, and two, it's expensive. So, say you got a new installment of your story coming out every 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks. You're hustling to get it written, and then you got to pass it off to somebody. Yes, you could build up a little inventory of stories to make sure you have kind of a cushion in between, so that way you have time for an editor. But a lot of us, we're starting at zero. We work for somebody else, or we're starting a small business, or maybe we even have our own business, but we just don't have a ton of extra money, and we want to write so that we can start a business, even if it's just a side business for you. So you probably don't have a lot of money to spend on copy editors, because you still have to get the covers designed, you still have to set up other things for your business, a website at some point, hopefully, and if you're trying to do Facebook ads, there's a lot of things that are expenses. None of it is the end of the world, none of it's super, super expensive, but it all adds up. And when your budget is 100, 150, maybe 200, per story, some of that's going to have to, if not all of it, has to go towards marketing. Yes, at the same time, though, I can hear people saying, well, if if you write a crappy story, then it doesn't matter how good the marketing is, because then everybody will hate it. Yes, I'm not saying put something out that's written by like a third grader. I'm saying, take your time, do it correctly, but at the same time, just be okay up here that you did your best, and you're not gonna not publish it because you're afraid that you're gonna make mistakes. That's part of it. That's part of the experience. Anything you do to become a skill or a talent takes work, and you're gonna learn a lot more from the failures than you are from the successes. So if you're too afraid to even try because you're gonna fail, and you can't possibly succeed if you don't even try, right? So, copy editors, yes, hands down, I think those are phenomenal. What I would probably do, what actually I am working towards, is, publish your short stories or your installments or whatever that you're trying to do. And then if after you've written a number of short stories and you're like, okay, I want to do a print copy now. I want to do an anthology of multiples of my stories, put them all together because now they're big enough for a full book, and then I'm going to put them up on Amazon to sell as a print book. I think that's a really good time then to try to involve an editor, because hopefully by then you're starting to grow an audience, you're starting to see that you do have a reader base, you're seeing that there might be a possibility, if not already proven track record, that you're able or are making some income from the stories, and that people do like the stories, and then it kind of validates to move forward with a copy editor. Once you build a market, an audience where you can promote your products to, and you have readers kind of like already on standby waiting for the next story or waiting for the next product that you're going to release, I would probably lead then with a copy editor. But because then I already have an audience, I already have readers, I already have a portion of the market that really likes what I'm doing, I want to lead at that point from then on with my best foot forward. But trying to build an audience, people understand if you're a brand new writer. I don't want everybody to think I'm an amateur writer when I'm first starting, so that way they kind of treat me different and sets the bar low. But at the same time too, it's like, well, that's kind of where you are. So in a way, it's like, try to be as the best that you can where you can still hit publish. Make sense? If you guys have any other questions or concerns, definitely leave those down in the comment section, or you can message me. If you'd like to follow us on Facebook, it's Learn to Write Sci-Fi, and on YouTube, it is White Light Media. We are now on day 21. Still have some announcements coming. I've been spending a lot of time and thinking and trying to pray about what I'm supposed to be doing and changing my business model on my end. And I'm excited for the creative side and then the educational side, how those are going to grow going forward. And I appreciate everybody watching. I've got a number of people that the moment I release a video, they're already hitting like. And that, I know that might not be a big deal to some people, but when you're a content creator, knowing that you already have people that are kind of following you and appreciate what you're doing, and even just is such a small thing as hitting the like button, it does actually help motivate sometimes when you're not really feeling like doing things, because there's actually people enjoying and hopefully learning from the content that you're creating. So anyway, guys, I'll see you guys all again tomorrow. I'm excited for what's coming, and have a good day.